What is good, YouTube? It is your boy, Max Minus. Welcome back to the lab, where I teach you how to level up your beats. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that bell notification. You guys do not want to miss out on when I'm dropping these gems. I'm going to continue to go in depth on sound design, melody creation, all that good stuff. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I utilize sound design in Serum to make the type of lush synths that you hear in the songs by Travis Scott that Mike Dean produced. So what I did here actually is I layered two different types of wavetables, right? So I have oscillator B, oscillator A, and it just so happened to work out in the fashion that I was able to use stock sounds, and we already have a loaded up wavetable right here. So I didn't really have to do too much work. I just added a filter, an LFO. Right here here's an example of a sound. All right, so there's a little bit of reverb there, and it has kind of like that Rhodes key type of feel. And then the second one, I used the stock 4088 sine wave here, but I changed it up a little bit, and then I just created this this sine wave myself to give it more I wanted to give this sound more harmonic content, because only this here, I'll play it for you guys. Right, so like I added effects to the wavetable so that it transitions from that type of sine wave to just like a kind of a saw, like a weird looking saw wave there. I guess we would just call it like a low amplitude saw wave, but it didn't have enough harmonic content, so I added in this one here. Right, you can hear a lot of harmonic content in there. And then so I played them together, and this is what it sounds like when they play together. Okay, so I created a melody, just a basic F minor chord progression here. For each melody I used two waves, so technically there's four total sounds, right? So if you look here, I have one wave here, another wave there, same thing here. Okay, so I'm layering four sounds on top of each other, and that's what's gonna give your melody a lot of texture, is just layering. And I wish I knew this when I first started making music. My melodies would have just sounded so much more professional and better. But you live and you learn, and that's why I'm trying to help you guys save time. I'm trying to help you level up your beats. So let's hear what the melody sounds like with all four of those sounds playing at the same time. So you can hear there's a little bit of like muddiness in that mid-range, and I really didn't like that. So what I did is I actually just rendered the entire melody and then sliced only one spot on that melody, and then I made it unique, and then I put a couple of filters on it. I added some saturation, I EQ'd the crap out of it, and then I actually made a pretty cool one-shot sample, and this is what it sounds like. Okay, so, and then what I did was I dragged that new sample that I sliced and made unique. If you don't make the sample unique, you're not going to be able to isolate it. So I made it unique, and then this is what the melody sounds like after I created the same chord progression in those same patterns up here.
Max Minus.
So that's like the melody that I use throughout the entire song. I will just use different instruments. Like for instance, here's the same melody. I just eliminated like one of the chords, and just to like give more space in between the chords. And this is what the same chord progression sounds like, just a little less going on. A lot softer. So I literally just did two opposite sine waves here. I created more of an, like the apex isn't as smooth here, right? Where like a regular sine wave, you're gonna have a nice smooth edge there, but I created a little bit of just a sharper angle. And then I added some harmonic content to this one, and I named it Analog Violin And then this one I didn't really name. I just kept it as like a sine wave or whatever. That's a very soft like organ type of sound with a little bit of harmonic content. I just filtered it out a little bit there, a little bit of a low pass filter, and then I created this melody here. It's just a good switch up from this melody here. Okay. And then a lot of times, like, I think it was in the ends, from Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, whoever the producer was, at the end of that song, there was like a synth outro. And so I wanted to do like kind of like a breakup during this beat, because Travis Scott does a lot of switch ups in his beats. A lot of changes happen, especially in Utopia. I don't think there was one song on the album that had like the same structure throughout the entire beat. Something changed, right? So since I wanted to make a Travis Scott type beat, I added a switch up here, and I actually, here, let me play it first, and I'll explain what I used for the sound here. Okay, so for that, I ended up using, for that specific switch up there, I ended up using a preset in Flex. So if you have FL Studio, you get Flex for free. So let me go down here, Travis type synth. Here we go. Okay, here's the preset. So I just created a chord progression with this preset. Pretty much the same thing, just a different structure of F minor chords. And then right back into the beat. So nothing special. All I did was I used the preset dystopian lead. All I did was slide up unison to detune it a little bit. It gives it a cool type of like a resonant saturation. I don't know how to explain it, but when you turn up the unison, it detunes it. It sounds really cool. It just gives it a little bit more width and just a really cool texture sound. And then character, I think, just increased like the upper harmonics of the sound. I'm not really sure exactly what it did, but it just elevated the higher octave component of it, which I thought sounded really cool. So that's what I did for like the bridge right there, and then I repeated the same beat as that first section right there. All right, and then obviously I talked about it earlier about how there was how there's a lot of switch ups within Travis's music. So at about like the 2.5 minute mark, I decided to switch it up and go with like something that reminded me of, I think it's called Sweet, just lush vibe, but Trav was like really, his vocals were really soft, and I thought that was cool. So when I was done making the first half of this beat, that's like the first thing that popped in my mind was, how do I create like a soft kind of vibe that like wasn't too lo-fi but still had like that analog character to it, that the synth character. And so what I did was I created a chord progression, I believe in A minor, and then from there I created an automation and gross beat. And so instead of using a regular gate where there's like, it just shuts off the volume, right? It's kind of annoying, right? Just like in and out, it kind of like discombobulates you, ruins the kind of experience. But if you mess with the attack, it kind of reminds me of like a compressor, where if the attack isn't super tight, it allows the volume to rise before it compresses. So with this attack, it slowly lets it rise and slowly lets it fall instead of just sharp cutting that volume. So this is what it sounds like with the attack at about, I don't know, what is that, 60%? Okay, so with that attack, it's slowly cutting the volume, but it's reintroducing the volume very quickly. So I'm gonna mess with the release a little bit. So now it has like a really cool feel to it, right? Just like a better feel instead of that like obnoxious sudden gate chopping up that melody. And then the automation that I did for the final beat here is actually messing with the attack. So I'm increasing the attack every like quarter note, and then decreasing the attack every quarter note. So it gives it like it just gives it like this cool pulse while the volume is slowly being introduced and then cut out. Okay, so and then this is what it sounds like when I introduce the beat. All right, guys, so like pretty basic in terms of like a classic, like it's kind of like a mix. It's like a lo-fi type beat. It's got punch, it's got bounce, but it's not like super hard hitting, you know what I mean? That's not what I wanted. I wanted to like soften things up for the second part. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. If you guys want to see like certain types of content, let me know. Go ahead and comment down below if you like. I'm definitely going to be doing a sound design tutorial on like how I go about making my synths, what type of wave patterns am I trying to create for certain sounds and stuff like that. I've been cooking up like a lot of kicks. I'm currently cooking up a drum kit right now. I'm making a loop kit. All of the loops that are in this video are going to be in the loop kit in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to count your blessings. Peace.